kind of compare yourself now as opposed to 2 years ago when you were here, just how much you've grown during that time in Grand Rapids, and just contrast.
Yeah, I feel like I've been improving a lot since then. I mean, I think I've learned a lot over the years and just kept working hard, and just taking in what I want to improve and what I need to improve. So it feels like, I've come a long way since then. So it feels like I'm just gonna keep improving as well and develop. I feel like it maybe takes a little longer for big guys to kind of develop and get to their maximum level. So I've just been patient and worked hard.
What, specifically your game in Grand Rapids, what areas do you think that you improved in the most the last couple of years there?
I think I improved, the physicality and being a little bit more of a force and tough to play against, and also the skating and I guess just puck protection and things like that. So just use my size to my advantage. I think that's the biggest part I've been improving. So I think when I learn to master that, it's just going to help me even more.
Do you think you sometimes surprise opponents with your stick handling, your puck skills? They see a big guy like that and they think kind of just kind of a crash and bang type guy.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, if you can combine that, the stick handling with the size and reach, I think you can surprise a lot of defenders and opponents like that, because obviously it's an advantage if you can have a longer reach and just get to pucks and maybe go around guys with your reach. So I'm trying to use it as much as I can.
What is it like to sort of continue developing at the NHL level, whether in practice or games, kind of getting those reps? Do you feel as though you keep kind of learning new things through that process as well?
Yeah, of course. It feels like you learn stuff every day, especially with being around guys that's been in this league for a long time and are really good players. So just by watching, you can learn a lot of stuff, and then you practice a lot after practices as well. So it's a really good spot to be in and to develop in.
Good morning.
Hey, Todd, is Soderblom good to go?
I believe he is, yes.
Just what were your impressions of him? It had been a couple of years since he'd even been up here, kind of out of sight, out of mind a little bit, but just the scouting report you got on him and what your impressions were when he got here?
Well, a couple things, out of sight, out of mind, I don't think so, because their eyes were on him the whole time there, and I know the organization was following him closely and watching him develop, and he needed some things to work on. My recollection of him was playing here with LA. I remember I came in early in the season, and I think they had Rass and Elmer, and I don't know who else was on another line. They were big trees out there, big line, and there was talk of him having an impact in the game. And I remember him playing well and us talking about him after, and then away we go, and years later, here we are. But since he's been up, he's been a very effective player, in my opinion. He's learned to use his size from where he was before to protect pucks. He transports pucks well as a big man. The physicality part of it can come in many different ways. He can power himself in tight areas. He can skate in open ice and skate through people. He can get to the net. There's a lot of tools in that man's toolbox, and he's starting to access or use all of them.
With seeing Carolina twice in March, I think you mentioned around one of those games that there's something sort of playoff adjacent about seeing a team a couple times in relatively short succession. How did that influence your preparation for tonight?
Well, so when we do a pre-scout, there's a lot of, you watch their current games and see if there's any changes and tendencies and changes in lines and all that type of stuff. You use analytics, but we've played them enough recently to use our own information, use our own video and clips about any structure things or tendencies they may have, especially if it matches up to the recent play. So that makes the pre-scout easier, but it doesn't make the task of playing against them easier. They are collectively a tough team to play against, the way they the way they attack. I don't know what they are now, 12-2 in their last 14 or something like that. And, that they're effective. And we have to believe that we can turn that record into 12-3. And it's something we have to do.
Simon and Albert had seemed to develop a real chemistry together. How have you seen Albert do away from Simon now since Petry's been back the last 5-6 games?
I think he's been fine. So away from a common partner for a long time and going to the other side of the rink, so he has a couple of adjustments. There's been the odd time where he's had to take speed to the outside on the other side of the rink, and it's a little bit of an adjustment for him. I think he's finding his range there. Your net play, your box outs and whatnot off the offside, a lot of times you can cradle somebody in your stick and box them out that way. Well, you don't have that when your stick's on the other side of the rink, so he's learning that as well. But I think he's adjusted well. He continues to give us solid minutes. He looks confident. I don't see a fall off in his play at all. I feel good about putting him on the ice. I think it's a really good thing if you have a player or two that can swing back and forth, and he's obviously done it in the past, and or at least it looks like he's done it in the past, and capable of continuing to do it.
Kane's production has really taken off since around Christmas time, and especially since the Four Nations break. How much do you think that kind of the break helped him, and just what are you seeing from his game since you got here?
You're talking about Patrick Kane, right? Yeah. Well, he's the type of player I don't think, unless something goes wrong with his vision, he's not going to lose his creativity, his sense for what's going on in the game, and his vision to pick it up. As you get older, maybe you get slower or whatever it might be, but I don't see him at that point yet. So his production's about playmaking and vision and his shot, and that's stayed at an elite level. I think maybe the break did help him. Obviously getting a rest, and he's been through a lot physically over the past few years. We're all aware of that. But I haven't seen a slowdown offensively from him really since we've been here. It's been fairly consistent, and we're going to need that down the stretch. Good. Okay.